You're listening to the LSG Sports Network, the authority on Texas high school football. Welcome to the Texas High School Football Coaches Show on Lone Star Gridiron. I'm Chris Daly, and it's my belief that the men that make up the fraternity of Texas high school football coaches are much more than a bunch of thick-necked guys with whistles. They do so much more than teach technique and the X's and O's of football. They take young boys and change them into young men of character. They get kids to believe in themselves, to trust others, and to put others ahead of themselves. Texas high school football coaches are unique in how they impact the lives of these athletes as well as the generations those kids touch. In this show, I sit down with a different Texas high school football coach each time and learn about them. Not their record, not their on-field accomplishments, but who they are and what they believe and what it means to be part of the greatest sport in the greatest state. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Texas High School Football Coaches Show. I'm your host, Chris Daly. This is Season 7, Episode 1. My guest today won back-to-back state championships with Stephenville as a player under Coach Art Briles. He recently returned to the Ville as head coach. I will introduce you to Sterling Doty right after this.
Take your game from this to this with Ready Sports Drink, your premium hydration source for high-octane athletic performance. Ready Sports replenishes with a proprietary formula of 3 dominant electrolytes combined with superfruits, B vitamins, and no added sugars. So if it's time to take your game to the next level, power up with the future of high-performance hydration. Ready Sports Drink, available at Dollar Tree.
All right, everybody, join me in welcoming Sterling Doty to the show. Coach, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me on.
Oh, you bet. So in this show, I'm going to learn about all your stops, all your influences, all that, but I start out asking, where'd you grow up and where did you learn about football as a game?
So I was born in Snyder, Texas. My dad and mom both worked at Western Texas College. My dad started the rodeo program there, and then my mom was a counselor. And then he took the Tarleton rodeo job in 1994. And I was in the 6th grade when we moved, and, of course, I got the Yellow Jacket fever really quick. That being a state championship year, went down to the Astrodome in Lamarck's background, or backyard, and won the second state title. You know, back to back, they went 32-0 those 2 years, and so from there, I loved the game of football, but I especially loved what it meant to be a Yellow Jacket.
Nice. So you played there?
I did. So I was a part of the 98 and 99 state championship teams. And then 2000, Mike Copeland's first year as the head coach AD. He had been our defensive coordinator before that. That was my senior year, so I got to be his first class, which was special. As Coach Briles went to Tech there in 2000 to be part of Leach's staff. So yes, my influences came from all of my coaches here down at the junior high and up here at the high school. And I was probably a freshman or sophomore when I decided that, this is what I want to do every day. And that's influence young men through the game of football and ultimately through athletics.
Nice. And so I guess so you went off to college with a plan already. You're going to be a coach. That's
right. Yes, sir. I already had the vision in place. And so that's definitely shaped by some great men here.
Nice. And talk to me about that, your college career, and you know how that went and how you started coaching.
Yes, sir. So had one Division I offer out of high school, and that was West Point Military Academy. So I went up to play for Todd Berry and his staff, and we put in the one-back system there for Army, and had influences here in Texas. We were in Conference USA, so Houston and TCU were both in at that time. So I knew at least I'd get one home game in Texas a year by going up there. And I love the challenge. I love the thought of it, putting myself through that strenuous regiment there with both academically, militarily, and then of course athletically being a football player. And then in January of 2003, I think it's actually December of 2003, University of Houston hired Coach Briles to be their next head coach. And at that point I said, man, Coach had such a big influence on my life. I left the academy to go play for him. Houston had been down. Their last conference championship was in '96, and 2 years before that, in 2001, they were 0-11 and 3-8, and then Coach Briles got there in 2003. So just have the ability to go in there and hopefully change the culture and be back around that influence of coaches. I just couldn't pass up that opportunity. So transferred to Houston, and I had 4 great years down there. Had the opportunity to start for my last 3 years, and so got to got to play with a lot of great guys, a lot of great teammates and players, and just a lot of relationships that I still have today. Was all forged during that time, and then in 2006 we had the ability to play for the conference championship against Southern Miss, and ended up winning the conference that night against Southern Miss, and then went on and represented our conference in the Liberty Bowl and played South Carolina. Fell short by a touchdown to South Carolina. But it was a great back and forth game, and that was my last game playing. I hung it up after that, and decided I was ready to start my coaching adventure, and was going to get married that March. Was already engaged to my wife Mandy, and so we got married in March, and then we moved to Abilene in May. I started coaching at Abilene Cooper High School. We were there for 7 years and had 2 of our kids there, Cooper and Kipton, and so that was my first stint as an assistant, and I started as the assistant O-line coach and worked my way up. And when I left, I was calling the plays, and so in 2014 had the opportunity to interview had the opportunity to go after my first head job, and that was in a community northwest of Houston. It's Magnolia High School, and ended up getting a job, and I was down there for 5 really good years, and we had our third son there, and so we just got a lot of great memories there. Just north of Tomball and west of the Woodlands is that community of Magnolia. A lot of great people, and had a lot of fun down there, influence in that program. And then in 2019, that spring, this Stephenville job came open, and of course I talked to a lot of people about it, and had the opportunity to come interview, and I got fortunate enough to be able to come back home as a hometown boy, and try to come in and get the numbers back up in the program, and some consistency, and had a really great staff that we were able to bring in, and had some great guys on the previous staff that bought into the way that we do things, and so with a great staff and great community and great kids, we're able to accomplish the goal of winning the state championship there in 21, and fell short last year, but we look forward to continuing the tradition of Yellow Jacket football, and that's going out and getting after it every day in off season, and then doing that in the fall when practices get started, and then as we go into this 23 football season.
Nice. And when you go to a school like Stephenville that has such great history, was there a lot of pressure on you?
Oh, definitely. I think there's pressure on all of us. In the coaching profession, and I think maybe a little bit added. You're coming home and at a program that has such a high standard of winning and success, and really you just try to do right by kids every day and put them in a situation to be successful. And if you're doing that, then everything, all the big things are going to take care of itself. So just try to focus small and just understand the most pressure you're going to get is the man looking back at you in the mirror, and just try to go every day, put your best foot forward to do right by these kids.
Right on. And you mentioned several coaches in your journey that you worked with or for. Talk about some of them specifically and maybe what influenced what they taught you.
Sure. With Coach Briles, it was always about relationships. He had a relationship with every player, and he just had a way of making you feel special. He had a way of, and that's, individualized. Like I said, that was for everybody. That just wasn't for, the quote unquote starters or the stars or, it was everybody on the team, everybody in the program, all the way down from, our student trainers to our equipment managers, all the way up. He built relationships with everybody, and therefore, you wanted to run through a brick wall for him, and that was always something that, people ask me that question a lot. What did Coach Briles do the best? And man, I think it's just building the relationships with the kids and making all of us know that he cared about us and wanted the best for us, and therefore we had a high standard of work for him. And then Randy Clements was my offensive line coach. So Coach Clem, I joke all the time. He's been yelling at me to get down in the squat rack, since I was in the 7th grade, and of course, Clem coached me down at Houston, and he's gone on and had a great career of influencing and teaching, offensive linemen and guys go on to coach at the next level or play at the next level, play up in the NFL, but for him, he always, that's kind of where I got the small focus piece. And that was kind of one of his sayings, the bigger the moment, the smaller the focus. And so that's something that I take from him and use with him on a daily basis. Coach Mike Copeland, I reflect on him.
Hey, coaches, I want to tell you about a product I discovered that is going to be a game changer. Yeah, the Exploder Bar. As coaches, you want to get your athletes as strong as possible without jeopardizing their speed and quickness. The Exploder does just that. I know it sounds like marketing hype, but if you're like me, the second you see this lifting tool in action, you will recognize just how brilliant it is. Triple extension lifts are the key to more powerful movements, and the Exploder Bar was designed to allow these exercises to be performed in a safe and effective manner. And it's a great way to condition core muscle groups and ligaments. Check it out at PremierAthleticSolutions.com. The Exploder Bar is built for athletes who are looking for speed, strength, and explosion. Again, that's PremierAthleticSolutions.com.
Coach Mike Copeland, I reflect on him, and man, it's just always this positive attitude, and he never let anything. I remember it was in 2 days, and it was going to be a hot one, and we all knew it was going to be hot, and you're not looking forward to going out there and getting after it because of just the heat and just the mental game. And here he comes out and he's full sweats, head to toe. He's got his hoodie on. You know, he's all strapped up. Now he didn't last the whole practice in that, but it's that mindset. He was shaking and shivering and acting like how cold it was outside. You know, so I think just that positive attitude and that mindset that nothing was going to ever get you down from what you want to accomplish. Don't let anything stop you from accomplishing that.
Nice. And what about you're still a young man, but you've been coaching a little while. What about some of the kids that you have coached who have gone on, grown up, become adults? Talk about some of those relationships.
Oh yeah, I mean it's really special. You can go, all the way back to the Abilene Cooper days and those kids that meant so much to you there as you got going and as you were raising a young family. And there wasn't just a whole lot of distance in between those seniors my first year and when we came out of college. And so it's just always great to keep up with them and see all their successes, and had a lot of guys go on and play college football, and then come back and a couple of them even got some pro camps and doing some things like that, but it's just good to be able to keep up with them and as they're now starting their young families and just being a successful husband and father and member of society. Just it's great to be able to keep up with all those kids and on social media. And then you think about all the influences down in Houston and those guys that kind of got believed in what you were preaching and got in the foxhole with you and really changed the culture down there. We were able to go from 3-7 the first year to 10-2 that second year. So guys like Spencer Nye come to mind, and Jacob Frazier, which is a young quarterback, and so we just had a lot of good players, and they're out doing a lot of good things. And Jim Harbaugh tells a story, the head coach at Michigan, when he was the starting quarterback there. He went in that summer and was kind of having a preseason meeting there with the head coach, and they're just talking about life and talking about what they anticipate coming into the new year, and Coach Harbaugh, at the time a player, asked the head coach, what do you think about this season, our guys, and where we're headed, where we're going? And the head coach said, well, ultimately we're going to be defined by what y'all look like when you come back here 15, 20, 30 years from now, what you guys are doing out in society and everything that you've been able to accomplish as a human. That ultimately is, the success rate that we're looking for. So kind of went big picture on him, and that kind of always stuck with him. And that's what we try to accomplish with our coaching staff and what every staff does, across the state. It's just it's our classroom. That playing field is our classroom, and we believe that we got a huge influence on and impact on the lives of young men and to tomorrow's society.
Nice. And so you've been involved in a few programs that have either had a turnaround or kind of picked back up from where they once were before. What is the secret sauce there? Because it can't all be just, some great kids moved in.
Yes, sir. Well, it's you got to get the right staff in here. You got to get guys that want to build that relationship with the players and understand that, the only way you're going to accomplish your goals as a coach is, that getting these kids to do it the right way and to prepare and work hard for you on a daily basis. And we believe that comes from, building those relationships with them, show them that you care, and just kind of what, Coach Browse was able to accomplish here in 1988. It showed him that he cared, and then he laid the foundation of a great off season. And we believe that we have one, and that our guys are going to get bigger, faster, stronger throughout the course of our weight room and throughout the course of our conditioning. And we want to challenge our guys to be involved in other sports and with basketball, baseball, and powerlifting and track. And when you get those numbers going and guys competing in multiple things and continue to stay after in the weight room, then I really do think you got the opportunity to flip the culture in the right direction. We've got a slogan, a saying that I've had with me since I went to Magnolia and was able to pick it up off of Coach Mike Spradlin, who was at Cooper. He hired me there, and we're at Houston together, but he hired me when he went to Cooper that next year in 2007. And when he went to Temple, he kind of picked up off of what Oregon was doing at the time, Win the Day. And it's just a quick reminder about the work I do today is going to ultimately dictate my success in the future. And so just having that philosophy and that mindset for our guys, you have the ability to get them bigger, faster, stronger, and believing in what we're trying to accomplish as a football team.
Excellent. And earlier you mentioned Stephenville as a great community. We've seen time and again, strong communities make strong football programs, or vice versa. But what do you need, and how do you grow that if it's not there to make that community stronger?
Well, I think success breeds success, right? I mean, it's kind of like if you're having a successful run in football and volleyball, and then you're kind of off to a great start, great momentum, great energy, great life in the school building. How kind of that all bleeds over. But I really do think that it starts with the staff and the kids and what they've done in the past to be able to get themselves ready to go have success and win, and then you got to welcome your community out to be involved in all the events that you got leading up to the season, and just getting them involved in as many things through the Booster Club and golf tournaments, and coming out for your inter-squad scrimmages, and we have the identity here of the Can Fans that was created there in the late 80s, early 90s with Coach Briles, that some guys from the community came to him and they kind of came up with this, what can give us an edge as fans to help out the football team. And they came out with the propane tanks with the ball bearings inside of them. And it's just a unique tradition that we have here in Stephenville, and then of course a lot of those players still live here, and I'm getting the ability to coach their kids, and so it's a really neat kind of circle of life, and so I think that's how you kind of build the community around your athletic programs.
Excellent. And what about the kids today? A lot of conversations about the kids today are lazy. The kids today aren't motivated. They're too busy with their screens or whatever. Do you see a difference in the kids, and how do you deal with that?
Well, I just think that we are all exposed to more. In any free time, I mean, you look at a adult, you look at myself, if there's any little downtime that we've got, we're reaching for our cell phone to do something on it, and so I think we're all influenced by that technology, but really as far as kids changing and if you give them something to believe in and something to work towards, and show them the value of hard work and discipline and structure. I'm a firm believer in every kid wants that structure, and they may buck you on it, they may fight you on it. It's going to be a work in progress. You're going to have to get there. You're going to have to show them that you care, and you have to go above and beyond in certain moments. But a lot of them just want something to believe in and work towards and go after. And so I think it's our job as coaches to create that vision and create that mindset and that work ethic of what we're going after. So we've got really good numbers in the program, and we're going to have over 200 kids in the fall, and wow. I think it really comes from our coaches, building those relationships with the guys, and then painting the pictures of what hard work looks like and how we ultimately want to accomplish what we want to accomplish.
I love it. And Sterling Doty, gosh, I want to thank you so much for sitting down with me, sharing a little bit of your story.
Thank you so much for having me.
Did you play Texas high school football? If you did, you're part of an elite group, the Brotherhood of Texas High School Football. All football players, past and present, who have ever suited up in the Lone Star State are eligible. Go to LoneStarGridiron.com/brotherhood. And thank you for the part you played in the greatest sport in the greatest state.
Until next time, I'm Chris Daly, and we'll see you at the game.